SportsCenter special free agency countdown here. Take a look on the left side of your screen. Quarterbacks here that are free agents. Malik Willis, he's heading to Miami. They cut Tua Tagovailoa. Tua going to Atlanta, by the way. And we're still waiting on more information for Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins. Now, Geno Smith not on this board because he was traded, but that was the big news from just a little while ago. Geno Smith, Adam Schefter, going to the Jets once again.
Well, Laura, that's correct. It's a big trade. It goes and sends Geno Smith back to the place where he started his NFL career. Back to New York. He's there taking his physical now. The trade is agreed to. Geno Smith has reworked his contract. The Raiders will absorb the bulk of it. The Jets will carry a little bit more than veteran minimum. And the Jets essentially flip-flop picks to make sure that they get Geno Smith and he can't go anywhere else. You see the Jets tweeted a short time ago, "Take me home, country roads." Maybe Lewis wants to sing that for us after we get through with this little news update.
I try to get you going.
I won't sing anything involving West Virginia.
Wow.
I would like to hear Lou sing that when we're done.
They know how to feel about each other down there.
As for other news right now, Tua Tagovailoa is in a situation where he has agreed to a one-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons, where he will join Michael Penix to compete for that starting job in Atlanta. Obviously, a new coaching staff, new front office, and now another new quarterback to go along with him. As for Aaron Rodgers, he continues to be out there waiting. The Pittsburgh Steelers want him back. He has been non-committal about being back. I think the feeling is that he's more likely than not to come back, but nobody really knows with Aaron Rodgers other than the Steelers have left the door open for him to return. They're hoping that he does, and we'll see if he can come back. If he doesn't, there will be another veteran option out there. Kirk Cousins is expected to be released in the next 24 hours from the Atlanta Falcons. That means he then would become a free agent. But you're seeing these quarterbacks fill up these spots day by day and taking more and more spots, so there aren't a lot of landing spots anymore. But there will be a landing spot for Kyler Murray once the Arizona Cardinals officially move off him, which could come tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, if and when he's free. A lot of people around the league look at the Minnesota Vikings as a favorite in that particular situation to see if that deal will get done. Again, Kyler Murray's still on Arizona's roster. They're still carrying him, but it's only a matter of time before they move on. He becomes a free agent, and Minnesota comes into focus.
That's going to be tomorrow, right? Adam, by the way, you did a great job of illustrating all of that, but here's a little more of a visual picture of what the quarterback scenario looks like across the league. These are the teams that are looking for a quarterback either as a new starter or even for depth. You see right there, the Steelers, Cardinals, they're at the top of the list in terms of teams who could be in the market for a QB, but as Adam just told you, all the reasons why they may go other directions or why we're in a little bit of a holding pattern here. Jeremy, what are you hearing about this quarterback market right now?
Well, we have the Minnesota Vikings need to fill that spot, and they have an option with Kyler Murray, as Adam alluded to, that he's on their short list of quarterbacks that they would like to get. And so
there's a joke in there. Sorry.
I just thought that.
Keep moving.
So
I couldn't.
I think they're going to be okay with short kings as their quarterback, because he is going to be cheap. And he's going to be about $1 million because he's got the guaranteed money from the Arizona Cardinals. And so that should shake out here fairly soon. Meanwhile, the New York Jets are still looking for a backup quarterback. Carson Wentz is on their radar. He's got a long history with Frank Reich. You still have Jimmy Garoppolo out there that could fill a sort of bridge number 2 spot somewhere. Didn't seem to work out with Arizona. It looks like they're steady ahead with Jacoby Brissett and whatever options they have. Gardner Minshew as well.
Lewis, Minnesota's the one that we keep talking about for Kyler. Let's live in a world where that happens. I want your thoughts on that. But where else would make sense for him as you think about these quarterback-needy teams?
Wow. Look, I think you think about Pittsburgh, right? And whether or not, like, a guy like Mike McCarthy, Kyler Murray, DK Metcalf, that looks like that to me seems
Michael
like something.
Pittman.
Michael Pittman, exactly, who they just acquired. That to me seems like something like when you're talking about the fact that they wouldn't have to make a huge financial commitment to him, obviously, because of the money that he has coming from Arizona, the dynamic playmaking ability. Look, I don't really get into too much of, like, he's a guy who's coming from playing in Arizona. He'd have to play in Pittsburgh. I know Omar Khan said, look, I need an AFC North type of quarterback. No, you need a quarterback who's a playmaker. Period. You need a guy who can throw touchdowns, a guy who can distribute the football, put seats in the stands, and kind of inject some hope.
But they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. Like the timeline may
see nothing ever really
for them.
seems to truly make sense with what Pittsburgh is doing when it comes to quarterback right now. I mean, maybe Omar has a different kind of plan that we just don't know about, and he has something up his sleeve. But I think that's the other place that just logically makes sense to me. That why wouldn't you be investigating that? Maybe they are. Maybe they're just not talking about it, but maybe they are.
I think that's the interesting part because if you're Pittsburgh, you're looking at the landscape right now, and Kyler Murray is the best available. So I think we're trying to figure out the spots for Kyler Murray. Minnesota Vikings make so much sense, and I think Dan said this down at the Thunderdome as well. But if you're the Indianapolis Colts, you're at a point where you're trying to negotiate a deal with Daniel Jones. You've put the transition tag on him. We've seen in the past tags be taken off of players as well. Yep. Not to say that they're going to do something of that nature, but even if you have him locked in for just a year, how do you not have a conversation with Kyler Murray? For Shane Steichen, their head coach and play caller, a guy like Kyler Murray gives you that dual threat that he's been able to thrive with, whether it was Jalen Hurts, whether it was Daniel Jones just this past season. You've seen the success with that as well. So I think for Kyler Murray, seeing Geno Smith get traded for, watching Tua Tagovailoa agree to join the Atlanta Falcons, you now have become a hotter commodity now when you get released.
Yeah, quick add, too. Joe Flacco. I've talked to some teams that liked his tape last year in Cincinnati.
I don't doubt it.
Yes.
So I do
think Pittsburgh is a backup option if Rodgers doesn't work out.
North
even Minnesota, I think he could find a home one of those
I think the one thing that, look, we kind of like dance around a little bit with Kyler Murray, but I think teams definitely have this discussion, internally, is exactly, look, we understand what you're getting on the field with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
What are you getting off the field?
Yes.
And how does that fit with us? Because, look, if you have Daniel Jones, like, you'd have to remove obviously the transition tag if you're bringing him in there. Is he what you want for your organization? No question on the field he's what you want. But some of the reasons why Arizona is moving on from him don't really have to do with what he did on the field.
Yeah.
And maybe
that wasn't the issue.
Maybe he needs a new group.
That's
maybe
right.
Things would be different for him, right? Like, I always want to see these guys get these opportunities. The talent is unbelievable. Adam, when you think about what Lewis is throwing out there, maybe about the Steelers being interested in Kyler Murray, what do you hear there, especially knowing that Aaron Rodgers is still looming for them in some ways?
Right. I'm not expecting Kyler Murray to wind up in Pittsburgh. I think they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, number one, they happen to have a strong belief in last year's rookie quarterback, Will Howard. Mike McCarthy is drawn to quarterbacks who are especially sharp, and they believe that Will Howard is somebody who could easily pick up their offense, adapt, and excel. Now, we'll see whether he can. He hasn't proven it at the NFL level, but they are confident in Will Howard. I think if Kirk Cousins is out there, he certainly would present another option if Rodgers decided he didn't want to play. But option 1 and 1A is Aaron Rodgers returning to Pittsburgh. The Steelers still are hoping that happens, even though the quarterback himself has been non-committal.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys have talked about there even today, Pat mentioned it when Aaron Rodgers was on his show. He said he hasn't really heard from the Steelers side of things yet. So some of that has to get figured out here over the next, I'm going to say, few months, because Rodgers doesn't have some sort of tight timeline. All right, another big thing that happened today, Romeo Doubs going to the Patriots. Adam, we knew the Patriots were seeking a wide receiver. They get Doubs. How did all that come together?
Yeah, they've been thin in the wide receiver market, and Romeo Doubs has been talking to teams, talking to Washington, talking to New England, but ultimately New England steps up with a 4-year deal worth over $70 million, could climb up to $80 million with incentives. And Romeo Doubs is a player that shined in Green Bay, and Green Bay's lost a lot of talent this offseason. The latest player to leave there is Romeo Doubs. It doesn't preclude the Patriots from one day trying to get A.J.